Nice to be in January 17th, 2023. And let's welcome in our man, DeQuell Jackson, joining us from the bluest state in the country, Florida.
Oh!
And when I say blue, I don't mean Republican.
Yeah, I was about to say,
it's
definitely not a blue state.
He
needs a white balance.
Whatever reason, there's a turquoise rug in the room. DeQuell looks a little blue, but we still love DeQuell.
Yeah, what can you do?
What's up, DeQuell?
I'm blue. Remember that
What's
awful
going on,
song?
fellas?
All right,
Hey,
happy Friday,
Friday
the 13th to you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
What you doing, some
here
vertical push-ups?
back in Clearwater, Florida. Staying at the beach right now.
Of course.
Tonight I'm actually getting honored and being inducted to my high school Hall of Fame. So,
Oh my God, that's
go.
awesome. Hey,
Let's go, DeQuell.
That's the best
what
feeling.
high school did you go to?
so it's called Seminole High School. So it's
I remember
multiple.
Seminole well.
Oh,
There's multiple Seminole high schools throughout Florida. It's not the one in Sanford, Florida.
Okay,
but
right.
the one in
No,
Nellis County.
So what year did you graduate?
2002.
2000. Then you know what? I watched you play high school football, and I'm just now learning that. But I worked at ABC in Tampa from 98 to 03.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. So I was the sports director there.
God.
So I was out covering high school football for my 5 years there, and you all didn't you have a legendary coach?
Yeah, so he had been around forever.
Yeah.
You could be mistaking us with Braden and Southeast Seminoles. They were really good. They had
No, I remember
okay.
You guys had a baseball player that was the number 1 overall pick.
Yes. We have multiple. My junior year and his senior year, my high school had probably like 10 or 12 guys. Like maybe 3 guys go first round.
Yeah.
Multiple guys went within the first 3 rounds. No, I went to every baseball game in high school.
Crazy baseball program.
They didn't lose all year.
But
and
your
a lot
football
of guys
program was good too.
Oh yeah. So Sam Roper, he's actually getting inducted tonight as well.
Oh,
so
good.
he's been a legendary coach for God knows how long, and he just retired maybe 2 years ago. He had been there since 1985. So I mean, it was only right.
By the way,
they include.
By the way, you guys are talking about football and baseball. The first thing I think of with Clearwater, being on Clearwater Beach, because I've been there a number of times, is like all the good breakfast places that I've got.
There are a lot of good
I'm thinking of all the food. Great food on Clearwater. You got the little aquarium right there. Remember going to that?
Oh, yeah.
I love Clearwater Beach because that's where the Phillies had their spring training.
Yes.
So I've been there many times.
Yeah.
But where are you going to eat
Jay,
tonight?
Jay, you may know the name Casey Kochman. Casey played
was
in Cleveland.
he was the number 1 overall draft
First
pick.
baseman, right?
Yeah, we went to high school together.
Bull,
He's
this
my-
kid
he
in
went to high school.
this kid in high school was like Mike Trout.
He played in the big leagues, didn't he?
Yeah, of course he did.
For the
Yeah.
Angels,
Yes,
right?
Casey Kochman. He was the number 1 overall draft pick.
Yeah.
This kid in high school, I think he hit like 650
he
his
was
senior year.
Oh, God.
Just
It was
insane.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So the crazy story about him, when we would all be out on the weekends, because his father was a professional
Scout, wasn't he?
He was a scout. And every time you would see Casey and his father, because they lived literally a block away from the baseball diamond. They would be out there taking BP all
Every
day.
day.
So you knew Casey was going to be what he was every day, every night, consistently. And he had a great professional career. And he lives right down the street here. So, but he's a really good friend of mine.
That's
I thought
awesome.
you would remember him.
There are so many great athletes from that part of the country. Well, first of all, congratulations.
Yeah.
Enjoy the evening. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun for you. Let's start with our 2022 Browns recap. I want you to give your report card. Start overall, what the Browns' overall grade is, and then grade Kevin Stefanski, and then the offense and the defense.
I don't know if we have enough time for all of that, Jay, but I'll try. Overall, I think this team definitely underachieved in every aspect. To put a grade to it, I would say this team, and I'm being, let's say, a C minus.
Okay.
I'll give them a C minus for a grade, because I think for what Kevin Stefanski was able to do with an offense, with a quarterback that really a lot of people didn't give a lot of credit to, didn't know he was going to play as well as he did. I thought he managed that position okay.
All right.
But on the defensive side, we've talked about it ad nauseum. Joe Woods, I know he's not there anymore. He was released a day after the season. Definitely that side of the group underachieving. If they played marginally better, this team could possibly be playing for a playoff spot. 2 or 3 games. I go back to the Jets game, beginning of the year. The defense lost that game. So, and then special teams just completely fell apart. You got and Prefer is still there for whatever reason. But overall, I give this team a C-. As far as Kevin Stefanski, he's right up there. I give him a C- as well. And I think only because he was in, I'm sure he was heavily in the mix with bringing Deshaun Watson over from Houston. I feel like that's the only saving grace. Listen, I don't want to seem like I'm defending Kevin Stefanski. I'm with Bull. I'm done defending this guy. Yeah. There's nothing to defend. I'm over that. But
he's still here. Don't worry.
He was heavily involved in the Deshaun Watson bringing him over, and I think they couldn't rip the cord right away. So I think you got to give him another year. Now this year, if he doesn't prove that he could take this team over the hump, he's got to go. No doubt, he's got to go. And as far as next steps, as far as what this team needs, definitely they let two guys just walk out of the building. That I know you guys were talking about it briefly. Those are two guys that have former head coaching experience that have a personality. And I think I heard you guys talk about Jim Schwartz in terms of
what's his brand?
So I never played for Jim Schwartz, but I've spent some time around him. He's a no-nonsense guy.
Okay,
and
good.
If anybody can come in and light a fire up under anyone's tail, it's him. He's a no-nonsense guy. You either love him or you hate him. But he's gonna push guys. No matter if you're Myles Garrett or a guy off the street, he's gonna push you. He's gonna be the same way. So again, I go back to, I heard Brad say this earlier. It's about personality. Who can motivate these guys? Who can you bring in to get this defense to play up to their potential and far exceed it? And I think that, man, if it would, I don't know. I don't know who's out there. I don't know. I mean, Brian Flores and Jim Schwartz, I like them. I like Brian Flores, his scheme, but I don't know him well enough to know if his personality will be able to galvanize guys. Be able to say, Kevin Stefanski needs a guy that he can close his eyes and say, you know what, you run the defense. I don't need to walk in the meeting room. I know you're going to handle it, and you're going to make me look good. I don't know what other guys could potentially come available at this moment, but the name that comes to mind to me, he's secure in his spot, and he's probably going to get a head coaching position somewhere, is former player, defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. I think he's the hottest on the market.
Yeah.
DeMeco Ryan.
Yeah, he's not coming here.
By the way,
he's not coming. He's
real
not
quick,
making a
Casey
lateral
Coxman
move.
played for the Indians in 2012. I forgot.
Sure did.
Briefly.
Yeah.
Hey, DQ, let me ask you a question. I'm going to go back to Flores, right? My question to you about Flores is this. It always struck me strange when the thing jumped off in Miami with Flores, right?
Mm-hmm.
The players didn't never really pop up to prop him up.
Yeah.
What's that say?
It says they're a slave contract. That's what that is. Be who you can afford to be. And a lot of guys weren't in a position. They should have took this moment as a guy that, he's a head coach. He obviously is about accountability, obviously, because he basically put his career on the line for his integrity. Right. And if I were a coach, if I were on that team, obviously, if I'm a veteran at a point where I was in the middle of my career, where I had a good hold of my career where I was, I would have undoubtedly defended this guy. But you're right. There wasn't a lot of talk about players defending him and defending his credibility.
I don't even remember people saying he was a good man. Right.
Well, I wonder, Brad, is that because, and DeQuell, maybe you know this, the way he handled Tua, after they're basically saying that he wrecked Tua, wrecked him, and that essentially what we're seeing from Tua now is a result of a reclamation, like a rebuilding of Tua and his confidence. And I know that Miami is limping right now, but that's because Tua's been out. It's almost what's happened in Miami this year has almost been a referendum
against Flores.
Against Flores,
right? That's why
he's
I asked
not
the
an offensive guy. He's not an
won less
offensive guy.
games this year than they did last year.
No, but I'm going back to.
Once Tua went out, they're completely. What are they without Tua? 0-5.
DeQuell, I'm going back to your thinking about the personalities, right? Because there's certain things, right? There's a way to say that's a good dude without me jumping in your argument over here with him and his match against the Dolphins, right? Somebody, I don't recall anybody ever saying that's a good man. You know what I'm saying? And so to me, I like okay, well, the signs of life that I'm looking for, maybe I missed them, but I didn't see them. So maybe when we thinking over here about Flores, maybe it's not a good fit. Maybe he wouldn't be a good fit here. I don't know.
Do we not know that maybe some of the Dolphins players, who none of us will be following on Twitter, maybe they did say something on Twitter?
Well, I know, but I mean, even in the national media, it wasn't like there was a rush to come out and say, what is going on here? And remember, he was just 2 games under 500 when he was let go. Now, there were a lot of people around the league saying, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
He gets 2 years and he's basically at 500. Coaches, if you're in that realm, you always get a 3rd year.
Right.
And so I think what's interesting is the Dolphins had sort of been of the mindset that Tua is not the guy. Mm-hmm. And the owner, Stephen Ross, said, no, he is the guy. And so they run Flores. And then this year, without Tua, the Dolphins are 1-4. And their only win was a 9-6 win in Week 17 against the Jets.
But don't you?
With Tua, they're 8-3 or 9-3.
Flores was there 3 years, by the way.
Was he there 3 years?
Yeah, the first year was 5-11. Was the year we're talking about that he was supposed to tank? Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Then he went 10-6. Then he went 9-8.
So when do coaches get fired after putting back-to-back winning seasons
they didn't
together?
go to the playoffs, but
so what? 10-6, 9-8.
To his defense, what if he was right? The knock against Tua for me is he's slight, he's smaller, and he's injury prone.
Yeah.
So,
but I think there's 2 things here, G. I think it's fair to say, like, I'm not a huge believer in Tua, that he can sustain success. However, it seems from an outside view that Flores didn't handle that situation great.
No,
because he didn't give him the chance to have the best success because he was taking him out of the lineup. It was clear that he didn't believe in him. Like, he was your quarterback for that. Even if you don't believe him, you got to make him think you do.
I'm not sure.
Chan Gailey,
I
believe.
Okay.
I'll double check on that, but I believe Chan Gailey.
For all 3 years?
Give me 1 sec. I'll confirm.
Because I'm saying, I'm not – listen, I love the success Tua had this year. Obviously, I root for anybody that had all the expectations coming in and kind of underachieved. And I agree with you guys. Brian Flores was like, yeah, you potentially almost ruined a really good quarterback because he had success this year. But I'll go back to – this is almost similar to the Kevin Stefanski situation, right? Like, Brian Flores is a defensive guy. And if Chan Gailey was – he's a reputable offensive coordinator, then that's kind of and you would think he would be a guy that can identify talent. If it didn't work out with Chan Gailey, man, that's I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
And by the way, it was Gailey the last 2 years was the offensive coordinator. And yeah, you're right. I mean, typically his reputation is he's going to get the most out of guys. And Tua's a tough study because he's been 2 different guys in the league. Mm-hmm. And I will also have to mention that they gave him some really nice pieces this year.
I mean, he got Ferraris, Jaguars.
Yeah, they gave him some really nice pieces, and it only stands to reason that the offense improved.
Right.
He's 1 hit away, and I hate to say that.
I
see Steve Young. He is 1 hit away from them taking his helmet and say, "Listen, you can't do this no more."
Right.
And it's a shame.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that.
You know why, G? Remember what happened with Tua early in the season when he fell to his knees and he got up and they played it off like, it was a back, it wasn't a head. That was the managed problem.
Right. And anyone with the Bengals the next week.
Yeah, anyone with 2 eyes knows like that was something more. There was something more to that than just a back. That was his head.
And then a couple of weeks later, when he actually gets the stiff arm after the hit.
No, that was the next week.
That was
the very next week. That was the next week.
I thought it was the next game he played.
No, that was the next week.
He did not miss a game after that first hit.
No, he played against the Bengals.
That's worse.
He played the Bengals the next week, and that's when it happened.
The Bengals had the all-white uniforms.
And then Tyreek Hill said he going to go to his house, knock on his door and say, "Hey, you playing this week?" No, that ain't the way it's working.
Tyreek Hill's not the sharpest tool.
I know. I mean, like he said it with a straight face. I'm like,
Great
this,
player.
we get into the but that's the problem. If you got a quarterback like this, right, and you like, all right, can I win with this? Yeah, I can win. I can get to the playoffs. But I need a quarterback that's going to make some sort of.
You done messed me up when Tyreek Hill said he going to his house.
He said he's going to his house.
But I want to get back to the DC for a minute.
Up now.
Is there a guy? Obviously, you played in the league a long time. Is there a guy that comes to mind that maybe coached you, or maybe you played with somebody who's a coach now that maybe a guy we're not even talking about that you think might be a good person to be the Browns DC?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it maybe a few weeks back. It was a guy named Billy Davis. He was the linebackers coach for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
When I tell you I've learned more football from him in 2 years than I ever have throughout my entire career. And he's a guy that has a personality. Mm-hmm. He can relate to everyone. He can motivate everyone, and he feels like one of your guys. And before his stint with the Arizona Cardinals, he was with the Ohio State Buckeyes. So he's been around forever. He's had
Billy Davis. Is he still in Arizona?
No, because they released they fired the head coach. I'm sure everyone's in flux right now.
Yeah.
So
Billy Davis, Cleveland, reach out to him.
So he was a defensive coordinator under Ken Wisenhunt years ago with the Arizona Cardinals. He was linebacker coach for Cleveland. He's held multiple defensive coordinator positions, but he's never really had a moment to climb the ladder to have his name mixed in from to a head coach. But in terms of personality and X's and O's, attack style defense, motivator, all those things, he's definitely a guy that flies under the radar that people don't really talk about, that I had a ton of respect for and success with, honestly.
I don't know why this name popped in my head. What if they brought Marvin Lewis in for an interview as a defensive coordinator?
I mean, he hasn't been a DC in like 25 years, though.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
How old is Marvin?
He's probably in his 60s.
I mean,
is he even still coaching?
Wasn't he coaching? Wasn't he like working on a college staff or something, or no?
I
can't remember.
Yeah, I haven't.
Google him once.
Marvin Lewis was a special advisor on Herm Edwards' Arizona State staff.
Okay,
he's also 64. Will turn 65.
Yeah, it's a little.
Season.
Yeah, that's.
Although Jim Schwartz is not that young either.
Yeah, I can't think of young.
No, that's true.
Huh.
I like the guy in Denver, DeQuell. Avijo Abero. I know he's got a couple head coaching interviews, but he did a hell of a job in Denver defense this year, where their offense was abysmal.
Yeah, but if he's the DC in Denver, how could he leave?
Well, because their head coach got fired.
But if he has a contract with them, I don't know what his contract.
What are the
they might want to keep him.
Yeah, I know a lot of the position coaches are year to year with their contracts, but the coordinators usually have.
That guy from Denver? Yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is Denver may say to the new head coach, hey, whoever we love you, but you got to keep this guy from DC.
Or Denver may say, we love him so much he's our head coach.
Right, that could happen.
He did interview for the head coaching position, but he turned down the interim tag. He didn't want to be the interim head coach when they fired Hackett, and then he did interview for the full-time gig.
Okay, that's really interesting.
There's Vic Fangio.
Yeah, Vic Fangio's out there, too.
Yeah. I want the next Bill Belichick.
Sean Payton said he's going to bring Fangio with him, by the way.
What'd you say?
What's that?
Sean Payton already said Vic Fangio is going to be my DC wherever I go.
Well,
he's already put his staff together. He doesn't even have a job.
They're going to bring Tom Brady to the Saints, right?
That's the rumor. The rumor is that Peyton's coming back to the Saints and he's bringing Brady
find me Mike
with him.
Singletary. Where he at? Find where he at.
Mike Singletary was a disaster.
No.
Wait,
no.
Hey,
can't win with him. Can't do it.
Tell me that story, Joel. Give me that story. You can't say no like that and not give me a story.
Can't win with him. Can't do it.
I love the guy as a player. I love what he stands for. I love everything about the human being. But as a coach, he will run your defense into the ground. No one wanted to play for this guy because he's so old school.
Yeah.
Like he would break every rule set up to protect the well-being of the players. There's no way players will play for him.
Oh my God!
Full contact 3 a day.
Full contact every day in the meeting room. It is not happening. I love the guy, but he's just
I think
he's
old
school.
Old school.
I love it, but
I think in general, it's very rare. It's very rare in any sport that a Hall of Fame caliber player is a good coach or manager.
You're right.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Hey,
Like even Mike Vrabel is a good player, but like how many Hall of Fame players have been great coaches and managers?
Mike Ditka was a Hall of Fame player and won a Super Bowl.
And
Larry Bird was
Larry
Bird
was interesting. Larry Bird had some success as a coach and as a general manager.
Yeah, like, it was weird.
Never broke through and won a title.
Never won a
Magic
title.
Johnson, abysmal as a coach.
Yeah.
What did he do? He lasted 9 games.
Isaiah Thomas.
I'm out of here.
Pat Riley.
Isaiah Thomas.
Pat
terrible.
Riley.
But he was
Pat Riley was a fringe player.
Okay.
He did win a
Fringe.
championship, but as a fringe player.
Rudy Tomjanovich, fringe guy.
Yeah, got punched in the face, and that was the
like,
thing.
look at the Spanish. Terry Francona was a pinch hitter, basically.
Yeah,
He's stupid.
yeah, it's
He's
really tough.
But the stars being
Pete
good
Rose,
players.
you know what? Pete Rose wasn't a bad manager.
What you mean?
No, he was
Yeah,
not a
that's
bad
true.
manager.
His record.
Except
Until he
for
started betting on the
except when he started doing like this.
Yeah, I'm taking the under,
give me
man.
this.
I'm throwing big
Give me
today.
the
I'm
under
throwing
on
a,
this.
I'm throwing a my ace
Yo,
today.
Vito, 500 on the Reds.
For the clubhouse phone.
Hey, somebody should have told him that
No,
during the legal
wrong.
in Ohio back then, wasn't it?
He did always
G,
bet. I thought it was
G.
ironic that he placed the first legal bet in Ohio.
Hey, Jay, for the clubhouse phone, you walk over there and pick up the clubhouse phone. All right, because that was before the cell phone. All right, now you know.
Not a coach, but I got a football player that we all know well who was a great GM.
Who's that?
Great player, great GM.
John Lynch.
Lynch.
John Lynch,
Ozzie
absolutely.
Newsome.
Gotta be
the
Ozzie
greatest of
Newsome.
all
Ozzie
time.
Newsome,
He's
right.
the greatest
Ozzie
of all time. There it is.
Yeah, no doubt.
One of the best
No doubt.
players ever, and one of the great GMs.
DeQuell, you want to coach?
You know what? I'm actually meeting with the head coach from Maryland actually later today to talk about potentially getting back into it. So yeah, and I actually
And you tell Loxley I sent him a message, right? I did
Hey,
him a
listen,
I
hey,
did, you
DeQuell,
tell him
that would
today,
be a-
seriously, I did him a favor. I DM'd him with something, all right?
Oh, Paul.
okay,
that would
all right.
That would be DeQuell. That would be a great place to start because expectations, although they're rising in Maryland, you've got other horses in there. Whatever success you have automatically rubber stamps you towards better jobs and they're on the rise, man.
You tell
Yeah,
Loxley
listen,
go see Cheyenne. Go see Cheyenne. He'll
Okay.
know
Yeah,
it.
but we don't want to lose the Quell from the show, selfishly.
No, he'll still do the show, of course.
No, I still do the show.
All right,
yeah,
good.
They ain't stopping that.
I love you.
And you know,
Love you guys so much.
And you know, Tua.
I think DeQuell would make a great coach.
You know,
I really do.
you know, Tua's brother signed a 10-year contract with Maryland. He's been there forever. You gotta stop. He got a deal. That ain't NIL. They
He
signed
could
him
ball,
to a
man.
10-year.
Talia could ball.
Listen,
He's
they got it.
35. He should.
Well, I think he's 45.
How you
Hey,
the
listen,
oldest younger
He
brother?
graduated high school the same year DeQuell did.
You got jokes.
Why y'all on that boy, man? Why y'all on him?
I like this tag.
Hey,
but he's a
McNuggets
official
is
Hall of
working on his
Famer.
jokes for his comedy stint.
I like that too.
I do have to do a stand-up routine,
Yeah.
DeQuell. You may or may not catch a stray in there. I'm just telling you right now.
Are we doing headlines
Yeah,
with the
I-
We
Quell?
are going to do
know
headlines
this.
with DeQuell. Before we do headlines, we had Bernard Pollard on earlier this week, who was awesome, by the way.
yeah.
I know
He's
I
great.
texted you about any stories, and you didn't know him personally. He said he didn't know you personally. But it's always cool when we hear the mutual respect between players who played in the same era who don't know each other. I mean, when I texted you, you said he was one of the hardest hitters in the league, always respecting his game. He had the same thing to
Feared
say
man.
back about you. It's just cool to see that when guys don't know each other who maybe we bring together through the show. It's just kind of a cool moment.
Yeah, I agree.
McNuggets, you didn't know? All black people know each other. I know.
All y'all cousins.
Oh, we like my
my cousin.
my grandmother's second cousin, twice removed. DeQuell, we all went to I saw him at the family reunion in Alabama. What are you talking about?
With
By
some,
the way, you say all black people know each other.
we all get an invite to the family reunion.
Yeah, all of them.
I say all Jewish people know each other.
Oh,
There's
that-
less of us.
Well, me
that's
and
really
Bull-
all
me
know
and
each
Bull
other.
do
That
know
is
each other,
facts.
so.
That is true.
I've had a number of people say, I knew a Jewish guy in high school. His name was like I would know him.
Yeah.
This random Jewish guy in Ohio.
Bull does not get the mailing letter,
Oh.
and you do have a paper.
We do. The
By the
Jewish
way,
News.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, McNuggets, let's do headlines.
All right, DeQuell, we're going to include you in this little segment because you are on this list to give people a context of what's going to happen. We did headlines every Friday for 17 weeks of the season, and we funneled them down to our 3 favorites, and we're going to put it up to a vote. Now, for the record, all 4 of you are excluded on the panel from making the final 3.
We can't vote?
No, you're going to
No,
vote
we're
on
not
the winner, but
in
we
the
didn't want you
final
guys
3.
voting on yourself. There was not enough people. So these are
Oh.
from
Yeah, we know
people
how that
who
would
are
work,
not
fair
you
enough.
4.
Are we basing them on how funny they are?
Just
or,
your favorite. It's just your favorite.
But is whether
accuracy?
Does
Is it-
accuracy matter?
No, just your favorite headline.
Okay,
Your
very
favorite
good.
headline.
All right.
So this
Right,
is
fair
not.
enough.
This is honorable mention. Anthony did a phenomenal job making these all season long. So Anthony wants to put his favorite.
Yeah, he
up there.
did.
So this was Anthony's
Great
favorite
job,
that
Ant.
he made Browns, March of the Penguins. Browns get
That was
waddled
Brad,
on.
wasn't it?
No,
that was Anthony.
That wasn't mine.
Oh,
Anthony
that
made
was
himself.
Anthony.
Browns get wiggled.
That was
waddled
Anthony's production one. So shout out Anthony for making these.
Oh, yeah,
phenomenal. That is not up for the vote. The next three
Okay.
are the three that me, Anthony, and
Very
Earl
accurate.
agreed upon were three favorites,
Oh, I
not
see.
from you guys today.
Yes.
We're gonna vote on a winner, just like the NBA All-Star Game. There's a fan vote, so the poll's going up on YouTube,
Yeah.
and there's a vote from you guys.
Okay.
The first one up for contention. Let's take it, Steve. Kicker saves sinking ship. Cade York late field goal puts Browns over Ravens. This is from Tyvis.
Life was good back then.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Accuracy 0 out of 10.
Yeah,
Creativity
it's true. It did-
very high.
If he had used that against the Panthers, then it
became
would have
a
been
mirror.
appropriate.
Hey man, can you imagine? Do you know how high on the horse we was after the Panthers game?
Yeah.
We was feeling ourselves Hoss.
yeah.
We was feeling ourselves something fishes. We was out here just dapping it up. The kicker was
Everything
military.
was good.
Everything was
Well,
good.
man.
And then the Jets game happened.
Yeah, but really, we should have known better. I mean,
We couldn't
Baker
help it. It
really
was
brought the
early in the
Panthers
season.
back
Right.
to take the
Right,
lead in that
right,
game.
right.
That game was an L.
That was,
Go back to the postgame show.
Right, that was-
Bull almost stroked out.
I did.
Yeah.
That game was an
Right on the
L, and the
borderline.
reason it was an L was because Baker brought them back.
Right.
it was
And,
crazy.
and then somehow this team grabbed a victory from the jaws of defeat. And in that moment, we were fooled. We were like,
why
we're going to be.
Yeah, we all took the bait.
Sure
We
did.
took it hard.
You guys
We
ready
have
for number
cheese
two?
in our
Number
teeth.
2.
Let's see
Season
number 2
long.
here, Steve. DeQuell.
Crazy.
This one's from you. Battle within Browns continue. Browns all bark.
Oh, you know
no
what?
bite.
Oh, you know what?
What week was that?
Yeah, what
This was
Accurate.
for the
Facts.
Bills game.
Facts.
Oh my goodness.
Browns all bark. No
Not
bite.
with any Browns.
That's facts.
What
That's
was
fact.
it?
That's pretty accurate.
That's-
Facts. That's
that
What
facts.
was the drama
Facts.
leading
Facts.
up to that week?
Yeah, what was the drama? Why were they infighting?
There was too much to remember. Speaking of infighting, we've given tag board full. This is
much to
breaking news
remember.
at the moment right now from Adam Schefter.
Uh-oh.
Let's take it full real quick. Jadeveon Clowney issued an apology to Myles Garrett. As a son and a parent, I want to fully apologize to anyone I offended, specifically Myles Garrett and his family. My words in the locker room were not only taken out of context, but completely misrepresented.
Oh.
As a man, I have reached out to Myles specifically to apologize. I will continue to learn and grow as I move forward.
You know what that is?
Can we get Mary Kay on the
That's
line?
throwing shade at Mary Kay
he's
right
saving
now.
Grace to come back. He's saving Grace to come back.
That's
He may-
exactly
he may not have
right.
any other
Exactly what
option.
it is.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
he's doing. What he's doing is his agent told him, Jadeveon, I'm hearing from a lot of teams that they're worried about
Right.
what kind of teammate you are.
Right.
You better try to make this good.
You
And
know
that's what that is.
Stop with this out of context nonsense. In other words,
And
take it out of
misrepresented. They're your words.
Yeah.
He
meant
just
what he
basically
said.
threw Mary Kay all the way up under the bus.
That's garbage.
And we specifically asked her, in what context did she have that conversation? She said, I was just talking in the locker room. I walked up to him and said, hey, how you doing? And I felt like he was going to tell this to anybody. I was just happened to be the one who asked him what was going on, and he went into it.
Yeah, but you know what?
Unsolicited.
I think
He was-
he selectively picked her because
Yep.
he knows the cachet she has.
Yep.
And also, look, okay, she may not have asked him anything, but he was ready.
Right.
He had both barrels loaded and
he said
cocked.
what he said.
And he meant
Give me
it.
a break.
And now he's going to
And
backpedal
fine that
from
he
it.
apologizes to Miles. He should. That's
Should.
all right. But you
Yeah.
don't need to throw Mary Kay under the bus.
But
That's
this
lame.
public, this public thing here,
Yeah.
that's all because his agent is hearing from teams.
Yep.
They're concerned what kind of teammate you're going to be.
And his production ain't that good. So they just
And it
that's a
sounds
double
like-
whammy.
He had 2 sacks.
Two.
Two.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
and it
go ahead.
sounds like he didn't really have a really good relationship with Joe Woods. Joe Woods was he was aiming all of that direction towards, and he's no longer there. So now he sees this as an opportunity. Like Jay said, his agent, he had some time to think about it. It's like, the whole
You
back
have a lot of time to think about it, Quill.
lean into it. And it's just like Joe Woods was your issue. You should have named a name if you were going to go that route.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now he's no longer there. Now it's everything is all peaches
Pick
and
a
cream. I
side.
want to
Yeah.
apologize. It saved Grace.
He put Myles Garrett's name in his mouth
Yeah.
when he shouldn't
Yeah,
have.
right.
That was a huge mistake.
And that was a
Right.
massive mistake. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I see right through that. That's too contrived. What's the
All
last
right,
mark
the
my
last
word.
headline, then we're going to vote.
Hold on. DeQuell wanted to say something.
DeQuell,
I was going to
One
say,
more point.
mark my word, if this offense can play better next year with Deshaun Watson having a full offseason, Myles Garrett, I'm saying it right now, he's going to be up for Defensive Player of the Year. With 16, he finished with 15, 16 sacks. This guy
16
could
last
potentially
year.
break the sack record with a good offense next year. If Deshaun Watson, this offense can play up to par.
I hope so.
Yep.
I love that. I hope that happens. All right. Headline number 3 that we're going to vote. This is from our friend, Mr. Jason Lloyd. Take it, Steve. Browns pull out their Chubb. Nick Chubb rushes for 2 TDs in the win.
Yeah, that's the winner. That's the winner.
Gotta go with that
That's
one.
the
Sorry.
winner.
I like the warning, not safe for work.
You got bumped.
that's crazy.
You got bumped, DQ. That's the winner.
That's crazy.
Browns pull out their Chubb.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's the unanimous winner. Now, the other question, and also, he was right.
He won on Halloween.
He was right.
He was right.
And they did win by more than 2 touchdowns. So it was both accurate and entertaining
Witty.
and creative. So leave it to the newspaper guy to win that contest.
That's what he does.
It's only half the vote. The YouTube chat is going to be the other 50%.
Trust me,
but
that's
I think
winning.
We're all in agreement.
That's winning.
You know what's amazing?
That's a fan favorite.
Good luck, man.
Wait, before DeQuell goes, DeQuell, give us your picks rapid fire for the playoffs this weekend.
You want me to
What do you
list
got?
off the games?
Want to list off the games?
Yeah. Let's not forget.
All right, here they are. Now, do you want to pick just straight winners, or do you want to pick with
I'll
the
pick straight
spread?
winners.
Okay, straight winners. San Francisco against Seattle.
San Francisco.
Minnesota against the Giants.
Ooh. I'm not a Kirk Cousins fan in crunch time. And
Danny Dimes.
I took the
Danny
Giants.
Dimes.
I'm going Giants. I'm
All
going
right,
Giants.
interesting. Dallas at Tampa Bay.
Ooh. You know what? I want to say I'm going with Tampa Bay just so I can witness all the hype and what's going to happen in Dallas and that camp and Jerry Jones and what's going to happen with this year. I'm going with Tampa. I'm going with
All
Tampa.
right.
The game's
And then in the
Tampa.
AFC,
Yep.
Chargers, Jacksonville.
Chargers for sure.
Buffalo,
Chargers.
Miami.
Buffalo.
Cincinnati,
Buffalo.
Baltimore.
No, Cincinnati. That's an easy one.
I think the
Cincinnati.
AFC games are slam dunks.
Yeah.
DeQuell's going to
Yeah,
be moving to
slam dunk.
Thursday starting next week.
Yes, DeQuell,
Thanks,
we will
DeQuell.
see you next Thursday. Hey, let us know how that Maryland thing goes, too.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
good
yeah,
luck.
absolutely.
And enjoy your
I
Hall
will.
of Fame induction tonight. That's always a great time.
Tell your boy to check his
All right, thanks,
DMs.
guys.
Yep, you bet.
All right, I will. I'll make sure he checks them.